One of my favourite aspects of the modern revival of Doctor Who is the cold open. The cold open describes everything that happens before the title sequence. When it's done well, it can communicate what sometimes took Classic Who the whole of Part 1 to tell. That's an extreme case, sure, but it's an example of the power of the cold open. I had 5 criteria that I looked at when making this list. Note that this is just a general guideline, and not every cold open fits this criteria. In fact, only one did, and that's not even the top of my list. Sometimes it just isn't right for that cold open, and the lack of it makes it more focused. That being said, the criteria that I looked at was this: whether it sets up the story well, is funny, makes you want to keep watching, making you ask questions, is epic and or has a big revelation, and also one that people might say shouldn't affect this list because it's not technically part of a cold open, but if it has a cool title sequence, I love a cool and different title sequence, it's brilliant. With that out of the way, let's get on to my top 10 favourite cold opens.
Because I am talking!
Number 10. The Sound of Drums. It's unapologetically cheesy and I adore it. This hits all of the criteria that makes it a good cold open, excluding my title sequence one, which is kind of cheating, which actually makes it the second highest if I was going strictly off of that. It's epic. It reveals that this mysterious Howard Saxon character that we've been getting hints of throughout the series is actually one of the Doctor's greatest foes, the Master. He says his final line with a big grin on his face, as he knows he's won this time, and is gleeful in the absence of the Doctor, his ultimate victory. It's a brilliant cold open.
This country needs medicine.
In fact, I'd go so far as to say that what this country really needs, right now, is a doctor.
Number 9. Time Heist. A really underrated cold open to go with a really underrated episode. I love this one. It starts off light and humorous, with the Doctor showcasing his oblivious asexuality. Or maybe it's just him knowingly teasing her. Either way, it works.
I've got a whole day worked out.
Sorry, but as you can see, I got plans.
Have you?
Look at me.
Yeah, okay.
No. No. Look at me.
Yep, looking.
Seriously?
Why is your face all coloured in?
That's all put to a halt though, as the TARDIS phone rings. Something that barely ever happens. We get reminded of the mysterious woman in the shop, and then get transported to a dark room with 2 unknown people.
It's just a phone, Clara. Nothing happens when you answer the phone.
Doctor!
Don't touch it!
Where are we? How did we get here?
Who are you?
There's a lot of brilliant
Sorry, what's going
setup
on?
revolving around these 2 characters. Just enough that we're left wondering about who exactly they are
is that thing?
and what they're
It's a memory
capable
well.
of.
What happened to your face?
Delete your memories.
Did you see her face? How did I get here?
The same way we all did. But we've all forgotten.
And who are you?
I am the Doctor, a Time Lord from Gallifrey. I've agreed to this memory wipe of my own free will. You're next, Sai.
I'm Sai, augmented human. I have agreed to this memory wipe of my own free will.
I am Sabra, mutant human. I've agreed to this memory wipe of my own free will.
Number 8. Human Nature. We start with what seems like a very run-of-the-mill cold open, but it quickly transforms into a much more peaceful scene.
What supposed to do?
Take this watch, because my life depends on it. This watch, Martha. This watch is...
This is the epitome of making you ask questions.
Sometimes I have these extraordinary dreams.
What about, sir?
I dream I'm this... adventurer. This daredevil, a madman. The Doctor, I'm called. And last night I dreamt that you were there. As my companion.
The Doctor's talking about his dreams of travelling in time and space. What is going on? Why were people shooting at them? David Tennant's performance is brilliant here. He seems so familiar and yet so different at the same time. And like a lot of RTD's era, the final line is once again cheesy in the best way possible.
Here's the morning paper. It's Monday, November 10th, 1913, and you're completely human, sir. As human as they come.
That's me. Completely human.
Number 7. The Stolen Earth. How can you not get excited about seeing quite literally every previous companion that has shown up thus far in the revival?
No broken bones. Slight loss of dignity. No change there, then.
No, the city must have felt that. Look! Are you alright?
It's gone dark. It's them aliens, I'll bet my pension. What do you want this time, you green swine?
Dad.
Look, you get back inside, Sylvia. They always want the women.
There is so much going on, but it's hard to contain yourself. And that's without even mentioning the mystery of the cold open.
The entire planet. He's gone.
Why is everyone so afraid? The reveal before the title sequence rolls is also executed brilliantly, and you get the sense that this really is going to be the biggest and most epic adventure yet.
Only just beginning.
Number 6. Flatline. I think this cold open is emblematic of Flatline as an episode. Something standard, done to perfection. Flatline is one of my favourite episodes of the entire show, and it's not because it does anything particularly bold, but because it perfects the Monster of the Week format, and I think the cold open is similar. When you boil it down to its basics, it is quite literally just that someone dies. But the fact that you're left wondering what could have killed him so easily, so quickly, and without the audience seeing it, makes it that much better. That's not to mention the slow pan to the painting, which you can't quite make out at a weird angle, just to end up seeing his screaming face. It might not be ambitious or unique, but it's perfect. Number 5. Last Christmas. This cold open is hilarious to begin with. The absurd concept of Santa trying to hide the fact that he's Santa, despite wearing his iconic look.
Merry Christmas, if it is Christmas. I mean, I don't much care for things like that myself. I mean, Christmas.
Are you? Santa Claus.
Me? No. Oh, no. It's ridiculous. No.
And Belima grew the beard as a disguise is genius. My favourite part of this cold open, however, is the juxtaposition between this and the Doctor's arrival. It's treated as a Christmas miracle, but the Doctor is so cold towards Santa, and surprisingly, Santa matches it, completely defying any previous expectations.
Yes. I'm really here. I'm back. Now get inside the TARDIS. I know what this is. I know what's happening. And I know what's at stake.
I don't think you do, Doctor. But I promise before this Christmas day is done, you will be glad of my help.
Happy Easter.
This confrontation between the two is completely unexpected, but absolutely brilliant. And it's followed up by the scene in the TARDIS between the Doctor and Clara. This scene has some absolutely incredible cinematography, and Jenna Coleman has an absolutely spectacular, yet short, performance in response to a strange question.
All that noise. how much I loved it.
There's something you have to ask yourself, and it's important. Your life may depend on it. Everybody's life. Do you really believe in Santa Claus?
Do you know what? Yeah. Right now. Yeah. I think I do.
It's also followed up by a different title sequence, so that's bonus points. Number 4. The Next Doctor. Similarly to Human Nature, this starts out as an extremely standard cold open. Someone is in trouble and the Doctor's going to save them.
Who, me?
Although it does raise some questions on how this person knows who the Doctor is and that they are present. Where it really gets interesting, however, is when she keeps calling for the Doctor, even after 10 arrives. Says that the notion that he's the Doctor is ridiculous. The arrival of David Morrissey and his frantic pouring of facts about the Doctor is superb and adds to the pile of questions we already had.
Back. What have we got here then?
Hold on, who are you?
I'm the Doctor. Simply the Doctor. The one, the only, and the best. Rosita, give me the sonic screwdriver.
What?
Now, quickly, get back to the TARDIS.
What's the what?
If you could stand back, sir, this is a job for a Time Lord.
Job for what, Lord?
The last shot before the title sequence starts shows his not-so-sonic screwdriver, and if you're paying close attention, it just adds even more. On a rewatch, this is also extremely funny, watching Tennant's facial expressions as more and more gets revealed. Before moving on to the top 3, I thought I might as well embrace the format of a top 10 with some honourable mentions. Amy's Choice has some brilliant setup for its cold open, and is incredibly weird to start with. There's been a time skip of 5 years? We just got to know these characters. Amy's pregnant? What's going on? The reveal that they're stuck between two worlds, with one being a dream, is also done really well. It also happens to be really funny.
Whenever you're ready, Amy. Oh, hey! You've swallowed a planet!
I'm pregnant!
You're huge!
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
Look at you when worlds collide!
Doctor, I'm pregnant.
Oh, look at you both 5 years later and you haven't changed a bit apart from age and size.
Oh, it's good to see you, Doctor.
Are you pregnant?
Yes, I was huge. I was a boat.
So you had the same dream then? Exactly the same dream?
Are you calling me a boat?
Doctor, you were visiting?
Yeah, you came to our cottage.
How can we have had exactly the same dream? It doesn't make any sense.
And you had a nightmare about us. What happened to us in the nightmare?
It was a bit similar in some aspects.
Which aspect?
Well, all of them.
You had the same dream.
Basically.
You said it was a nightmare.
Did I say nightmare? No, more of a really good mare.
The Doctor's final line is also excellent for making you want to stick around, as even he admits that.
This is going to be a tricky one.
Before the Flood is an excellent example of how to force rule break, and it's a delight to see Capaldi monologue lecture the audience on what a bootstrap paradox is, something that's going to be important later on. Maybe it's a bit too on the nose, but god do I love it.
This is called the bootstrap paradox. Google it.
I was conflicted on whether this spot should go to this episode or Ascension of the Cybermen, because that one is a lot more foreboding, and both have a unique title sequence. I have to give it to Before the Flood though, and I'm not afraid to admit that it's entirely because of Capaldi.
Listen.
Speaking of Capaldi monologuing, Listen is a perfect example of that. It's a great premise, with the Doctor being so fascinated by something that very well may not exist. It's got some absolutely incredible shots as well, the Doctor sitting on the TARDIS being a pretty iconic one. Is this all just inside his head, or is it real? For the last honourable mention, I'm giving it to the Five Doctors. It's the first ever proper cold open. Cast Revolver technically had one, but it was just a cliffhanger from the previous episode. And while it's not anything too special, it was great to commemorate 20 years of the show. It would feel wrong to not mention it.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs. and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
Number 3. The Husbands of Wither Song. This was the episode I mentioned that fulfilled every single one of my criteria. It sets up the story nicely, and at the same time has a big revelation, because we find out the basic premise of Wither Song being a main driving force of the episode. We then start asking questions because she mentions how her husband is dying. That should leave you pretty suspenseful, because, well, the Doctor is meant to be Wither's husband. Is there going to be multiple Doctors this episode? It's also got a different title sequence, although not completely unique due to it being used in Last Christmas. Finally, it's just incredibly funny. There's so many amazing moments. All in all, I think this is what all cold opens should aspire to be.
Doctor, don't use my name, ever. How do you know me?
Well, it's a tiny bit complicated. People usually need a flowchart.
It doesn't matter. If either of you use my name again, I will remove your organs in alphabetical order. Any questions?
Which alphabet? Is there anything on my hand?
Yes, my husband is dying.
Something wrong? I think I'm going to need a bigger flowchart.
Number 2. The Lie of the Land. I don't hear people talk about this one enough. I'm a big dystopia enthusiast, and so this cold open was one of the most exciting for me when I first watched it. While the rest of the episode unfortunately doesn't live up to the hype, this list is just about the cold open, and it cannot be understated what a brilliant cold open this is. Seeing the monks be injected into these famous photos of our history is an absolute delight, and there's also a healthy amount of self-indulgence with showing the Dalek, Cyber-Men and Weeping Angels. There's a sharp contrast between the imagery of the monks being like parents, watching their baby.
How lucky Earth is to have an ally as powerful and as tender as the monks.
And then the charge into the family's house.
Get down! On your knees, hands on your head!
It's an incredible setup, and Capaldi's final smile is chilling, as you wonder what exactly has happened to him to make him seemingly believe so much in the monks. If only the rest of the episode could live up to it, although I do think of it in higher regard than most.
So relax, do as you're told. Your future is taken care of.
Now we get on to number 1, and I think a lot of people probably expected this one. Number 1, The Magician's Apprentice. This is a cold open that kind of disproves the criteria I set out. It's not particularly funny, but it doesn't need to be. If it was funny, that would undermine how serious it is and what a big dramatic moment the reveal is. There's a war going on. A war which actually has a very interesting premise, where due to a lack of weapons there's fights between proper sci-fi high-tech stuff and simple bows and arrows. If you're a classic viewer and are paying close attention, that might already ring some bells. The best twists are the ones that you might be able to figure out from clues, but still a big deal either way. We follow one boy, scared for his life, running through this battlefield because his life depends on it. We're made to sympathise with him, connect with him, because while we might not necessarily know the experience of having to run for our life, we can relate to him in that we've all been in situations where we know there's a high chance that something can go wrong, something that will make everything 1,000 times worse, and we got into those situations by complete accident. There's a soldier who is trying to make sure he's okay, and we can appreciate his kindness in reassuring the boy while also trying to keep him safe. The threat is established. Handmines. We see one take the life from the soldier trying to help the lost and confused boy. A death which seemed so undeserved towards a man who was doing his best to comfort and rescue a child. We see more and more slowly rise from the ground, surrounding the boy, and the sound design is absolutely excellent at further cementing this chilling scenario. There's an element of body horror here, with the human eye stuck onto it, creating a really unsettling image. And these mutants, once again, are an opportunity for keen-eyed viewers to process what might actually be going on. The boy is now screaming for help, and all hope seems lost, until a familiar screwdriver flies through the air and lands at his feet. We can relax. We know the Doctor is going to save the day, as the music starts to play, showing how the Doctor's presence cuts through any sense of defeat.
Pick it up! I said! Pick it up!
The Doctor delivers a motivating speech, something that this incarnation is extremely good at, and it reassures the boy. He calms the boy down, saying that he's going to get out of this if he listens to the Doctor. We're comforted. We know this boy, who we have been sympathising with, who we so want to escape this conflict, is going to turn out fine. The boy is still confused, and it's natural, but we're no longer scared for him. We're smiling at how he's oblivious to his luck that the Doctor is here. The Doctor's making his usual quips, saying he was looking for a bookshop, and we're optimistic. He's continuing his speech, and we can see the boy become slightly less tense. He's still not completely comforted though, so the Doctor asks some questions. He inquires into his name, using it to spark hope and optimism. You're going to make it out alive. I need your name so I know how to remember the boy who survived, the boy who was brave and was able to make it. And that's when we get the reveal, one of the best twists in Doctor Who history, and it happens in this cold open.
What's your name? Come on! Faith in the future! Introduce yourself! Tell me the name of the boy who isn't going to die today!
Davros. My name is Davros.
As soon as his name is uttered, the music swiftly turns. The beat becomes lower, more sinister. This boy, who we were so quick to sympathise with, is going to go on to create the evilest waste in the universe. This is not any ordinary planet. This is Skara. How could we feel sorry for this person? It makes you question everything. We zoom in on the Doctor's face, the music in the background reinforcing who exactly this is. His facial expression slowly morphs into that of uncertainty and fear. All the while, we're hearing the boy's cries for help. His confusion as to why he stopped talking, stopped being reassuring, and we're reminded of Davros' fear. After all, he is just a boy. We were sympathetic towards him for a reason. Now the Doctor must make a choice that he failed to make so many years ago. Abandon the boy, going against what seems to be everything that the Doctor stands for, or help him. Rescue the creator of the Daleks and be part of the reason they came to be in the first place. We hear one last plea for help while watching the Doctor's unmoving face before the title sequence plays.
You said I could survive. You said you'd help me. Help me!
What a cold open. The music, the direction, the writing, the acting, and that reveal. That's why it is my favourite and #1 on the list. Thanks for watching.